And leaders from Maine are reacting to the deadly mass shooting that has left at least 16 people dead. Senator Angus King says that he is, quote, deeply sad for the city of Lewiston and all those worried about their family, friends, and neighbors. He's also urging residents to stay indoors and report any suspicious behavior. Former President Donald Trump is also reacting to the shooting, saying it is a terrible situation and that it, quote, seems to never end for the USA. However, in the past, Trump has threatened to veto legislation that would require background checks for most gun purchases or transfers. The CBS News White House correspondent Weijia Jiang is joining us now to talk a little bit about reaction from the White House. How is the president responding to this news of yet another mass shooting? Weijia?
Well, Anne-Marie, this was all unfolding as President Biden was hosting the Prime Minister of Australia here at the White House for a state dinner. And sources tell us that he actually stepped away from that dinner so that he could make personal phone calls with the governor of Maine, with Senator King, as well as Collins and other officials. And he offered his full support and federal assistance for anything that they need right now. You can see here is a tweet from one of the U.S. senators who spoke with President Biden over the phone yesterday. She says here that she did receive that call offering help. In addition to that, we are waiting more from the president today. So far, he hasn't made any remarks about it or issued a lengthier statement, but we do know that he has been briefed about the situation and certainly kept in the loop about the investigation as it unfolds. But of course, we are in the very early stages of that, Anne-Marie.
You know, Weijia, there's already been more than 500 mass shootings in this country this year. What is the White House doing to address the ongoing gun violence happening across the nation?
Well, there's only so much that the White House can do, and they have pointed in the past to things that they've already done, which are significant. Last year, there was a bipartisan bill that was signed into law, the first real reform of any kind when it comes to guns in decades, and the president signed that into law, which essentially expands background checks and closes a loophole for people who are convicted of crimes and living with domestic partners, preventing them from purchasing firearms. It also gave a ton of money, billions of dollars, to tackle gun violence, prevention, mental health, and school safety. And just a couple months ago, back in September, Anne-Marie, this White House launched the first ever Office of Gun Prevention of its kind. And so the vice president is overseeing that, along with two key directors who were personally impacted by gun violence. One was shot himself. The other lost a family member to gun violence. And so their main job is to making sure that bill and making sure state laws and local laws are enforced and that the resources are there so that officials can implement the existing laws, because the ongoing frustration, Anne-Marie, is that the broader law has to change. And President Biden has taken many, many opportunities to call out Congress and say there is widespread support for universal background checks and widespread support to remove assault weapons you know, the capability of shooting down many people all at once, to remove that from the streets. And Congress has not been able to change that. So certainly we expect him to call once again for lawmakers to do more. Anne-Marie.
Indeed, Weijia, thank you very much.
Sure.